So it makes sense to me that, let's talk about football. So you are a coach that's working with football players, and you have someone who's a quarterback, and then you have someone who's a linebacker, right? Very different.
Georgia, I'm really proud of you. You're getting positions. This is great. All right, let's go.
These guys have very different demands. Like, what they do in their sport is going to be super different. So the way that you train those two athletes is probably going to look pretty damn different, right?
Yep.
Same thing applies to people with different roles inside the army. Could you give us some examples of what that actually like might look like when it comes to physical training that's being written out?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's break it down into a couple different tiers or ideas. So you have what we talked about, like the organizational requirements. Second tier would be occupational requirements. So I'm in the army, I'm a lawyer versus a combat medic. Different. Now we actually have event-based requirements. So we have people in the military that are always doing education and going through schools. And these are like physically based schools, right? So you have someone that's JAG, they're a lawyer, but they're getting ready for Ranger School. So now their physical requirements completely flip because now you're not preparing them to be a lawyer anymore and just going through like the day to day of doing whatever they're doing in the office. You're getting them ready to go to Ranger School, right? Or you have that combat medic and they have this expert field medical badge training or event coming up. Now you're not getting them ready to just become or be a medic on a day-to-day basis. Now you're getting them ready for this very specific event. So that's something that happens a lot in the military, event-based physical requirements. So those events can be schools, those events can be deployments, those events can be like military-based competitions. There's just so many physically based things that happen inside of the military. So I would break it down into into those three tiers: organizational requirements, occupational, and then event-based.
Got it. That makes sense. I mean, the event based, you see that coaching CrossFitters, the different competitions that they're going to, different layouts, like whether they're going to the CrossFit Games or competing in the Open or some like one day like 24-hour running clock where they have to hit WODs every hour on the hour. Like, they're different events that they're preparing for.
That's when you just say, good luck.
Just survive.
Good luck. Have fun with that one.
Yeah, sounds like a blast.
But no, I don't think that answered your question. But the linebacker versus the quarterback, the occupations would just be what we laid out with the lawyer versus combat medic, and even we can look at like police officers, right? Are you a part of the SWAT team or are you a police chief? You know what I mean? Like, you can start to imagine how those requirements would be the same. Or if you're a firefighter, like, are you going out and you're putting out fires on a daily basis, or are you office based? Are you like a fire chief? So there's so many occupations in the military and in first responders that it should be very, very job specific in terms of, as a coach, what you're doing for that person on a day-to-day basis.
So what you're telling me is there's no one perfect training split and template for everyone that's in the Army and one for everyone in the Navy.
No, there's not, because it's I think we put a lot of and we do this because we're fitness coaches, right? I think I said this at the beginning, but we put too much onus on the physical. It's like, it doesn't matter that much. You don't see, man, sorry if you guys have seen this, but I haven't seen a lot of people die because they weren't fit enough, like physically fit enough, like they weren't strong enough, fast enough. I haven't seen that a lot, especially in this day and age. I'm sure that was the case in, World War II, but we don't see a lot of people dying because they're not fit enough, in the military specifically. So it's like, when we look at physical requirements, we need to look at what is fit enough and where can we actually spill over. Because I didn't tell this story, but I spilled over a lot when I was in the military, where I was actually worse at my job because I put too much onus on fitness. Like, I did, weightlifting competitions, powerlifting competitions, bodybuilding, physique competitions. That was like right in the middle of my military career, where I'm like, walking around at 3.5% body fat with zero energy.
That's not self-preservation
That's not
or
self
stress
at
management.
all, right? At all, right? But it's like that's an example of someone putting so much onus on the physical, where it's like just be fit enough. You know what I mean? But people have their own goals. That's where we run into not issues, but that's where reality sits. It's like, I think a lot of military members, they say they do it for their job and their occupation, but we're actually doing it for ourselves and our own goals. Because if we were actually doing it for the job and the occupation, we look at those organizational requirements, we pass or max those organizational requirements out, and we should be good, right? In most cases, no. Like we want to get better, we want to be better, and I that was me. That still is me. I appreciate that, but we have to understand that we don't have to find like this secret sauce in exercise with military people.
So if you're a coach, should you be looking at those organizational requirements and making sure that your client can meet them? If they can't, train them to meet them and have that be what you're basing your design around?
If
Or
that's what your client wants, yeah, you can't come to those conclusions for your client.
true, they might have goals, like you said, that go beyond just the job.
Yeah, yeah, or they may not give a shit about those organizational requirements. And who are we to say like, nope, the test is different now. I don't know. It's like trap bar, deadlift, broad jump, bunch of craziness. But uh, you know, maybe someone's like, I don't actually give a shit about 2 minutes of push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2 mile run. I don't care about maxing that out. I like exceed minimum requirements, and I'm good with that because I don't get extra, brownie points for maxing this thing out. Um, so yeah, the client or the military member needs to be the one that tells the coach what they're trying to get out of this thing.